Breaking Station, I'm back for it to it. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you always watch the full video. This is my last one. I'm
In
done
the
for the
early morning
day.
hours of Valentine's Day 2019, a woman named Olivia Jones walked the aisles of a local supermarket known as HEB Plus in preparation for dinner with her husband
Never
Chris.
heard of that
As she
shit.
gathered the ingredients, she observed a bouquet of pink and red roses, colors that symbolize tenderness and passion. As Olivia exited the store with the roses in her cart, she was unaware that in less than 40 minutes, she would be dead. A horrible consequence of so-called toxic love. The police would
Bro,
find
she
her on
brought
her bedroom floor
flowers.
in a quiet neighborhood in Beaumont, Texas. 11 minutes earlier, her loving husband Chris dialed 911.
Beaumont 911. What is the address of your emergency? Olivia! Please, hurry. Customer take the gun. Tell me what's going
That didn't even sound real, y'all. I'm sorry, but that didn't sound real. That sounded like that. He pre like, mind you, I've never been in this situation, so therefore I can't 100% judge somebody on how they reacted. But I would believe if this moment happened, like you would be screaming like so while you're dialing, while the phone is still ringing, you're still screaming while it's going. It's like he waited till he heard them. Oh, they're online. Oh, Livy, no, bro. You like again can't judge it, but then again, it's like I don't know.
on? I'm at home. My wife been shot in the head. Please, somebody shot in the head. My wife, please.
Then
Tell
he was
me,
like,
where is she shot? In the head. Okay, where in the head? Take it and it went off. Okay.
nigga,
I
where?
want you to try to
He's on where in the head? It's the head. You want the front, the back, the side, the forehead, the tip, the top, like bro. It's the head,
control the
bro.
bleeding.
As soon as the call disconnected, officers headed on their way to the
That was
Beaumont,
he would have
Texas
pissed
home
me
of
off with
Chris
that,
and
like
Olivia,
nigga.
located at
The head.
5575 Pine Bur Boulevard. At 8:55 a.m., they arrived. Officer Otis Butler was met by a familiar face, 40-year-old Christopher Ray Jones, who was visibly distressed. Officer Butler was close friends
I
with
can't even
Chris and his
imagine
wife
doing
Olivia.
this and then
His
trying to
body cam was
fake
rolling
this.
while Chris urged the officers to hurry into the house.
She in my bedroom. Where's the gun? In the bedroom, broken down on the dresser. Come this way. Okay. Please, come this way. This way.
Okay.
Please. Olivia!
As alluded to earlier, the officers
He had time to break the pistol down. Why would you do that?
made their way to the bedroom.
He
and
said
found
it's on the
Olivia
dresser
lying
broken
on the
down.
floor.
Or bed broken down. Why would you break it down?
Okay. Step back. Step back.
What's up, Mr. Butler? I tried to take it.
Get his.
Mom!
Olivia was found face down with a gunshot wound to the back of her head. Astonishingly, she was still breathing. When the officers rolled
He
her
said he
over,
tried to
they
take
discovered
it.
that
That's
the
the
bullet
back.
had pierced through her right eye. The room she was found in was covered in blood, with spatter all over the walls. The paramedics arrived, and while they tended to Olivia, the police secured the area. Officer Butler had Chris walk him through the events leading up to the shooting.
What happened? We had a disagreement. And I say, baby, if you're not working with me, you're working against me. I say, we've been doing this. My 19-year-old stepdaughter was 8. My 11-year-old was 1. I say, Olivia, we can't get it together. We can't be together. Okay. We got several bleeds. And I say, I just want a divorce. And her reaction was, she got the gun? I said, give me the gun. She like, I don't remember which hand. I'm like, give me that gun. What is you doing? Stop trying to scare me. I took it. So when you grabbed it, went off. She yanked.
So she yanked or whatever, and then turned around, and then bro. This nigga lying.
She yanked back.
This nigga lying.
Okay.
She got hit in the gut.
Chris's
I can
story
see that.
immediately set off red flags. How could such a large man be overpowered by his significantly smaller wife? Chris dropped to his knees in anguish, but there were no tears as he asked Officer Butler if he could go check on Olivia.
This nigga lying, yo.
Mr. Butler, I got help. No. You don't need to go in there, okay? Is she alive?
Yeah, she is.
She is.
Got him.
Is she alive, Mr. Butler?
When
Please don't tell me she's alive and she's not.
Yeah, when I saw her, she was.
She was talking?
She wasn't talking.
Is she breathing?
It looked like she was breathing. Yeah.
Ooh, good.
Like, don't
Mr.
go in there,
Butler,
sir.
please.
Sir, I need you to stay right here with me, okay? And calm down.
Calm down.
Upon learning that Olivia was still breathing, Chris's reaction seemed strangely devoid of relief or happiness. Another
that was
red
weird.
flag for Officer Butler. Back
That was
inside the
weird.
home, Olivia's wounds proved to be fatal, and just after 9 a.m., she was pronounced dead. Officers searched the rest of the home and noticed that in addition to the surveillance cameras installed on the exterior of the house, there were 2 more cameras mounted in the living room, monitoring the interior of the house as well. They also discovered the gun that Olivia was shot with, a 9mm pistol covered in blood. However, they found it strange that the gun was in a different room from where the shooting took place. If Olivia was holding the gun when it went off, how did it end up in a different room? The only logical answer was that Chris must have moved it. Following this discovery, the officers decided that the best course of action was to detain Chris until they had a better understanding
That
of
nigga
what
did it.
really happened. As Chris
did
was
it.
getting handcuffed, his 19-year-old daughter,
She wanted to leave him, and he didn't want her to leave. Or it could have been he wanted to leave, and she didn't want him to leave, and he was like, "This is where I'm gonna do it." Hit her in the back of the head, and went in the other room, broke it, put it apart. Cause it's still like, why would you do that? I've never been in this situation, but it's the why would you break it down for? Like, move it to the side. I can see that. All right, move it, drop it, whatever. But go in the other room. Take the magazine out. Take the extra little last bullet out. Put it all on the dresser.
Ariel arrived at the house. She had already been contacted by Chris, who told her what had happened. She was clearly devastated.
Look, no expression. No expression.
While the officers tried to console Ariel, Chris was escorted to the back of a police cruiser. Lead Detective Mendy Freeman and Sergeant Yvette Barrero of the Forensics Unit arrived at the residence and were immediately caught up to speed.
According to him, she grabs a 9mm in their bedroom. She did that. He claims he reached for the gun to try to get it from her. And when he reached for it, and they struggle over it, boom.
At that moment, Olivia's sister Angela arrived at the scene.
So you had to do
Ariel
this, though.
once again broke out into hysterics.
Yeah, you would have to turn it, and then how it still get to the
All
back
of the
of the
evidence was
head.
collected and sent to the crime lab. Chris was brought down to the station where they took photos of his hands still covered in blood.
They're waiting for the lead detectives. They're going to be the ones that actually interview.
Nigga, I would have been boohoo crying,
When the
nigga.
detectives finally arrived at the station, they started Chris's interview by asking him what caused the argument. He said that he felt as if Olivia wasn't pulling her weight in the relationship.
I am very particular. If you heard that, that's true. I am very particular.
You strive for the best for people.
I work really hard, and I don't make excuses for myself, and I don't accept excuses for anybody else.
After telling her that he wanted a divorce, she went to the bedroom and
Look,
grabbed the gun.
I don't set no excuses.
Wait a minute. You serious? Really? This is not going to solve anything.
Okay.
You know, this is not. You do not want to do that. Put that freaking gun down before you make a mistake and hurt yourself. She was crying.
Hurt yourself, not hurt me. Hurt yourself.
Chris handed over his cell phone, which had access to the home security camera footage.
Say you want to access just that camera. You touch that. And that's just that camera. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
So far, let's go back to devices.
Yes, sir. And everything is labeled.
Carport, backyard, front door, back door, laundry room, inside garage, living room, kitchen.
The police examined this footage, hoping to corroborate Chris's story. At 8:41 a.m., Olivia can be seen going about her morning routine in the kitchen. Then, all of a sudden, the footage cuts out. 3 minutes later, at 8:44 a.m., the video is back up, and Chris is captured frantically pacing around the house while on the phone with 911. 11 minutes later, at 8:55 a.m., the responding officers can be seen entering the residence. That means
He
that
deleted-
Olivia must have been shot
he
during
deleted
this
something.
3-minute gap in the
3
footage.
minutes.
In the interrogation
That's-
room, Chris was
Bam.
asked why this footage was missing. He claimed that he had no idea.
We're still trying to pull up these videos here, okay? Why would there be no recordings on it? I don't know. It should be. Everybody that went in that house should be on it. But like I said, the internet, you can go through days and it pretty much does it. We shouldn't have bought that.
He lying.
Just keep, like, you can pick whatever day
This
you
nigga
want. It's
lying.
never going to be
Sorry,
consistent.
I've been in this
That's why I
chair way
said
too
it's
long,
like
bro. I gotta get me a new chair.
Well, I'm going
Back
desperately to find some video on here that corroborates what you're telling us, but almost all the videos start right after this event happened.
Chris had a bunch of excuses, from internet problems to not charging the camera properly. But at this point, the detectives were taking anything Chris said with a grain of salt. It seemed more likely that Chris, the only one with access to the footage, had tampered with it. Since they did not have the video, they had Chris reenact the moment that he tried to disarm Olivia.
Now go ahead and do my initial. She pulls it.
Give me the.
Okay. And I go. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good.
No, you're good.
I don't
I'm
sit
sorry.
here.
I'm sorry. You're fine.
Like the chair, man.
I'm reliving it.
You are.
I'm reliving it.
So she should be shot in the back of her right head.
Did you feel me twist your? Did you feel me twist?
Back here.
Did you?
That nigga said, I'm reliving it, and then shed down one tear. It just happened today, a few hours ago, a few minutes ago. Nigga, I still have moments where if I think about my mom too long, too deeply, whatever, bruh, I get to crying.
Feel me twist your? I twisted.
This nigga
With
lying,
each
bro.
question asked,
This
it
nigga
seems as
lying.
if Chris was improvising the answer, actively trying to make
'Cause,
the
like,
puzzle pieces
what?
fit
She did
together
that?
rather than telling
She-
the truth.
so
The
she had it
detectives
like
ended their
this.
initial interview
You
feeling
grabbed
more
it.
suspicious of
It
Chris
went
than
like
ever.
this,
They
and she
then
turned
moved
her
on to
head,
other members
bow.
of the family, starting with Olivia's sister, Angela.
Who does this?
Olivia Jones is your sister, right? We've been talking a lot lately. We talk every day. I drop her baby to her at the tax office. She's always been timid about everything, but she was the type that whatever went on in their home, she would keep it there.
Yeah, she's kind of a private
person.
Yeah.
She loved her baby so much that she thought she had to live for them. You know, she would never.
Angela went on to reveal the extent of Chris's control over Olivia.
She can't talk on the phone after a certain time. He controlled the finances. He never wanted to be in the presence of her family reunions, anything. He never came. But she would have to
That part is
off
great.
and, when he would call, and all you could hear was him screaming and yelling on the phone. His character is agitation. Like, his character is to be aggressive. I just don't get it. That's all she wanted.
He already proved
sister
that when he
was
said he
very
don't like
All
excuses.
she wanted was to be loved. Yeah. She loved love. Like, she loved her babies. She wanted to live for her babies.
To make matters worse, Chris's ex-wife Letitia, who he initially met back in 1999, corroborated his pattern of controlling and aggressive behavior.
I met Chris Jones in 1999. It was just like a constant fight. Like, he strangled me, choked me out, drugged me through the house. My skin was missing off my back. One time he bit my hand. He had this bite marks in my hand.
He's a
This
dog,
was what it
literally.
was. If the house not clean, he's told me that he would kill me if I was to ever leave him. Told me how he would
Sucker.
do it. The reason I never said anything or went for help was because I was extremely in fear of my life. Because I knew and I felt in my heart that he would kill me.
And most damning of all were the allegations made by Olivia's daughter Arielle during her interview. She explained what it was like living at the house with her mom and Chris.
One time they were arguing and I heard her say she couldn't breathe. I would see bruises on
That's
her.
crazy.
It broke her down to the point where she believed what he said. You won't be nothing without me, stuff like that. Right.
That's what niggas do.
Everybody knows my mama. Everybody knows my
Most dudes who don't who don't want you to work and they want to control every single little thing, they're controlling. They want to be able to have full control. So therefore, if you don't work, you don't leave because they have the money. How are you going to leave when for you, especially if they like get you to do what they're doing, like how she said, not going to no family events. If she's not going to, the family's going to start getting mad. Like, oh, you like you don't rock with us. You picked him over us, whatever. Especially if they don't know what's going on. So that so now you have nowhere to go. He's your all. He has the money. He's your only family. You're stuck. Most dudes who are trying to, I want to pay for everything. You ain't got to work. That's what they're on. Most. I didn't say all. Said most.
Everybody knows that we were her world.
With each person interviewed, the allegations against Chris were stacking higher and higher. They doubled back with him, urging him to tell the truth about what actually happened to the missing footage.
To be honest,
I look guilty. If I deleted those videos, I look guilty.
Not if you say right now, what you just said a little while ago. I freaked out. I panicked. I did some stuff I shouldn't have done. Is that one of them?
Yes.
How many did you delete?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just afraid of being blamed for something I did do something.
Planned it. That's planning. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. You went in, popped her in the head, went to the footage, deleted it, called the police, and then you walked out in the last few seconds.
That looks really bad.
Because the video,
While the confession
like
was
the
a much
clip that's
needed
missing
relief
is
to
when they walk to the
detectives,
room
there
and
was
when
still
he
no
walked
trace
back
of
out.
those crucial 3 minutes of footage.
3
However,
minutes.
the detectives did their due diligence. They spent the days combing through all available footage from the house to see for themselves what daily life was like for the Jones family. In these recordings, the true nature of Chris and Olivia's relationship was on full display.
Then you're gonna be looking stupid. Look on the floor. Look on the floor. Look on the floor, White. Look on the floor. Look on the floor. Look on the floor. Look on the
Clean it, nigga.
like that. We're not paying attention.
I hate people that do that. If you see a spot,
We wasn't worried about the son of a bitch a minute ago. That's your mother.
I hate people that do
I'm not
that.
playing with you. Lazy.
I hate people
You
that
want
do
to do
that.
some shit, not enough? Give it here. You got all the goddamn answers. You don't do a goddamn thing around this. Right. This your ass
I
three
know
bitch.
I was gonna be.
That's clean dish. That's clean.
I didn't want to. They fell on the floor, so I didn't want to reuse them.
You look at it. You don't pay attention to what the fuck you doing. You all over the place, Olivia. You ain't got the chance to claim your off. Food on the wall. Who you burning now?
Me?
Harriet don't live here. It's you. It's always been you.
Chris would take any chance that he could to bully Olivia, constantly putting her worth into question, even humiliating her in front of her own daughter.
When I got the show ass, you didn't have a job. You collected unemployment. You just had off. And most men in this world want a woman that got what? You wouldn't be doing this if I wouldn't have got upset. You would have bagged that. Life would be so much easier for me if you start thinking. You do dumb because you don't think.
This footage shed light on Chris's true colors and
That's
confirmed
crazy.
the allegations of
I
abuse
can
from Olivia's
never
family.
talk to
Detectives
what I
also
don't talk
looked
like
into Chris's
this, bro.
criminal
That's
records
foul.
and discovered that he had a history of violent charges, including multiple assaults in 1996 and a domestic assault in 1998, which landed him in jail for a brief period of time.
This
Even
his
though
type.
they were
This is what
still
he do.
waiting for ongoing forensic analysis results, authorities believed that they had enough evidence to place charges against Chris.
News this morning, a Beaumont man is now facing murder charges in a Valentine's Day shooting of his wife. Police say this man, Christopher Ray Jones, who worked as a correctional counselor at the Beaumont Federal Prison, killed his wife, Olivia.
Chris was charged with first-degree murder and second-degree
Correctional
manslaughter in
counselor.
April of 2019.
So you know
But
how he talks to them
unexpectedly,
niggas.
within 24 hours after being charged, he was released on a $150,000 bond and was put under house arrest with a GPS monitor.
Now a man charged with murdering his wife is back at their home.
40-year-old Christopher Ray Jones was arrested and charged with shooting his wife in the face on Valentine's Day. His bond was set at $150,000. He paid and is now out.
Many taking to social.
See, I said this in a Dirk video. They give you a bond, you pay that if you're able to pay it, and then you go on house arrest. What they doing to him, even though this is like a regular criminal case and Dirk's case is federal, but y'all get what I'm going.
Media to voice their concerns, stating things like, "Can't believe he's out on a $150,000 bond.
That should at least
That's
been a meal,
crazy.
though.
What's wrong with our system?" And "Can't believe they would make his bond so low that he got out. He should not be walking the streets."
While out on bail, Christopher was allowed to continue operating the Jones family business, a food truck called One Plate at a Time.
Anyway,
The judge
eating that
allowed
shit,
Chris to
nigga?
work while out on bail since the food truck is directly beside his home.
Ain't
However,
nobody eat
this
that.
decision was controversial amongst Olivia's family and the community. They knew Chris was the only person with Olivia at the time of her death, and they all seemed to believe that he had killed her.
This food truck on Concord Road in Beaumont is a hot topic on social media.
Anyway,
It's not
man,
generating rave reviews from many, but condemnation from a grieving family.
I don't see how would anyone want to support someone who murdered their wife on Valentine's Day, which is a day that we are supposed to celebrate love. And the day that she was going to celebrate that with him, he decides to take her life.
Chris's image was tainted.
On God, cause like even with all the things that he was doing, she still saw them flowers and still thought like love. Even if they was just for her, cause she knew he wasn't gonna buy her none, but she still thought about love. This thing is foul.
Even further,
foul
when the
nigga,
results
boy.
from the crime lab came in, the bloodstain patterns at the crime scene indicated that the gunshot wound could not have happened in the way that Chris described it. Additionally, investigators found no gunshot residue on Olivia's hands, indicating that there was no way she was holding the gun when it went off. There was, however, gunshot residue on Chris's hands and clothing. Despite all of the evidence pointing towards Chris, he pled not guilty to his charges. But before his trial would take place, Olivia's family held a gathering to honor her memory.
This Valentine's Day,
Praying for you.
purple and red balloons filled Rogers Park.
Purple means domestic violence, and red was one of her favorite colors.
1 year ago today, Joshua Simmons lost his sister.
Valentine's Day was one of her favorite holidays.
I would give almost anything to have her back right now.
What's this year been like for you and your family?
If you can wrap it up in one word, it would be frustrating.
Frustrated with the fact that Jones isn't behind bars. Now the family wants to raise awareness for domestic violence, but more than anything, they want justice for Olivia.
We want him to spend the rest of his life in prison, while my sister spend the rest of her life in the grave.
Like, bro, you had, bro.
After finally having an opportunity to celebrate Olivia's life, her loved ones would once again have to face her death during Chris's upcoming trial. The courtroom was packed with family members from both sides. It had been over 3 years since Olivia's death, and despite the clear tension between the two families, they all wanted the same thing: justice for Olivia. Prosecutors Jimmy Ham and Mike Laird described Chris as an abusive partner with a violent past, and it was only a matter of time before something like this happened. Chris's defense attorney, Ryan Gertz, argued that Chris only grabbed the gun because Olivia was recklessly handling the weapon, putting both herself and Chris in a dangerous predicament. Forensic pathologist Celestina Rossi provided critical bloodstain analysis and confirmed that Olivia did not have any gunshot residue on her, contradicting the defense's claims that her death was merely an accident. The testimonies and evidence combined ultimately overpowered the defense team. And on February 8, 2022, Christopher Ray Jones was found guilty for the murder of his wife, Olivia Jones.
1,118 days. That's how long Olivia Jones's family says they've waited for this moment. The moment when Olivia's husband, Christopher Jones, was found guilty of murder. Olivia died at the hands of her husband on Valentine's Day 2019, and instead of spending a lifetime behind bars,
we elected to agree with the state to a 30-year sentence because of the potential risk of an even higher sentence.
In exchange, Christopher waived his right to appeal the conviction. After the judge handed down this sentence, Olivia and Christopher's 2 daughters took the stand. Looking directly at their father, they described the impact of Olivia's death. The youngest daughter, who was only 11 when her mother died, said, quote, "I'll forgive you one day, but right now I can't." Throughout the trial, the prosecution described a history of abuse that finally blew up. Defense attorney Ryan Getz argued a different version of events.
I think that we'll never know what happened in that room. Ultimately, my impression from the jurors is that they just didn't believe Chris's version of events, and that really only left.
Do you believe him, bruh?
This was an emotional day for Olivia's family. As they were leaving the courtroom, they were encouraging each other, saying, "Today was all about Olivia, and she won."
Christopher Jones is currently serving his sentence in the John M. Wynn Unit in Huntsville, Texas.
That nigga foul nigga, boy. That's crazy, bro. Like, you could have just left her. She probably more than likely didn't want to be with you anyway. You could have left her, bro.